Right then, the January transfer window is done. No more signings can be done unless you sign players as a free agent. I don't know if Luton are going to do that. We might talk about that later on in the video. But in terms of buying players from other clubs, we can't do that now. The window is done. It reopens again in the summer. But in this video, I'm here to give you my thoughts on the window. Is it a good window for Luton? Let me know down in the comment section of today's video. But I want to start off by talking about my feelings going into the window. Now, I knew we needed to be proactive. We needed to bring players through the door. We needed players through the door to add competition and also try and solve this mentality, the losing mentality at the football club out. And I do think we've tried in that department. We have been proactive in this window. Of course, it would have been nice to make even more signings and allow more players to leave the football club. But there's problems in doing that. There is problems. And those problems are we're bottom three in the championship. Not many other clubs out there are going to want our players. And if they do, they probably don't want to pay the money which we want for that player. Also, not many top players want to come to a club that's in the bottom three of the championship. They would rather go to another club that is pushing a lot higher up in the division. So it brings a lot of challenges which you've got to try and overcome. And I do think we've done our best in bringing in football players that have a point to prove. So just to recap, we needed to bring a few new faces to the football club. And we needed to improve certain qualities which I felt was missing. Those qualities are pace, goals, creativity and leadership. And I do think we've actually ticked each one off. At the start of the window, our board came out and said they wanted to be aggressive in the transfer market. Now, everyone's got their own opinion of what that actually means. For me, I'm just glad that we've been proactive and we've managed to have a squad of 25 players. We've got 2 players in every position now. There's competition for places. And I do think we've ticked off the missing qualities, which I didn't think we had before the window started. So as I've mentioned, we lacked a bit of pace. So we brought in Isaiah Jones and also Ali to the football club. One player can play on the right-hand side, the other can play on the left-hand side. Leadership, we brought in Cal Naismith on loan from now until the end of the season. It's a short-term solution and hopefully he can guide the likes of Mans Anderson and also McGuinness and making sure that we are more secured at the back. The creativity within the team, Asgard coming in, being that number 10. We needed a traditional number 10 and Asgard fits that bill. We've also brought in Josh Bowler as well, who is really creative from the right-hand side. And then we've got players for the future. Christ Masoko, we might not see him this year, but maybe he could be one for the future. And also Lamine Dabu as well, who we have seen recently, who's been making a few appearances. And the other missing quality was goals. Now, we have to wait and see with the goals, but we've ticked the other areas of the pitch. We have tried to sort the goal department out. We needed to bring in a striker. Lassie Nordas has come to the football club from Norway. So let's see what he is all about. Apparently, he is a mix of Morris and Elijah Adebayo put together. He's going to take a couple of weeks to get up to scratch because he's having pre-season in Norway. So hopefully we can get him to game speed very, very soon and see what he is all about. And hopefully he can get us goals, because that's, at the moment, is the problem. We're not scoring enough goals, and that's how you win games of football, by scoring. You can't win 1-0 every week unless you're Burnley. You need to score at least 1 or 2 goals to help you grind out a result and, yeah, get points and climb up that championship table. So I've spoken about all the incomings that have come to the football club. Let's talk about the outgoings. So Joe Taylor has left the football club. Of course, we all wanted to see Joe Taylor have a fair run in the side. Didn't happen. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. I've already spoken so much about that. It's time to move on. Tom Holmes did leave quite late in the window. It was announced late last night that he's going on loan in Belgium. He's playing in the top flight of Belgian football. Some people are not happy about this because it does leave us a little bit light at the back. I honestly think Matt Bloomfield is a lot better at managing players, especially from injuries and game time. So I would like to think we're not going to have another injury crisis at the back. But I do understand why people are concerned, because we've had frequent injuries in defence. When you've got Mans Anderson, who's had frequent injuries, Reece Burke, who sometimes is made of glass, and then you've also got Tedem Menji, who's also recovering from his knee issue, it does leave you light. But then you've got Christ Masoko, who is one for the future. He can fit in when needed. But if we manage our players correctly, Cal Naismith can also play as a centre-half as well, then we shouldn't have any problems in terms of players getting injured, unless they get injured during a game, which you can't avoid, you know, especially impacts from tackles and so on. Cauley Woodrow went on loan to Blackburn. I actually think if he gets given minutes, he actually will suit the way they like to play their football, so that could end up being successful for him. Eric Peters, who didn't even make a single appearance for Luton, he was brought in to just be an emergency backup player, just in case we had another injury crisis at the football club. We, of course, decided to part ways. Tom Krause has gone back to Germany. He wanted his loan terminated so he can play closer to home. And then Pelly Ruddock, the legend of Pelly, he's gone on loan to Rotherham in League One. And some do say we are a little bit light in midfield. And that does bring me to what are the question marks left within this squad. So I've already mentioned about the centre-back area. I do think Bloomfield, if he manages the team correctly, Mans Anderson has had back-to-back games now. Reece Burke is back on the grass. All of a sudden, we've got centre-halves available to play football. So we need to manage them correctly. Do they need to be training every single day? Can they skip a couple of sessions so we just look after them a little bit? Just manage it. We don't need to overdo it for them physically, because the demands are so high and there is a lot of pressure now because we are in the bottom three. There is a question mark in terms of right backs. You've got Walters and you've got Hashi. Well, let me put it this way. It's time for Hashi to step up. He's now playing in his correct position. We should be seeing the best out of him now. I do think with a run of games, we could see the best out of him. Walters is definitely one for the future. He is learning. He's going to make mistakes. I can accept that, but you kind of don't want those mistakes now. You need those mistakes at different points when they don't impact the season as much as what they would do if you make them now, is what I'm trying to say. You know, if you make a mistake now and we lose a game of football, it hurts us. It hurts the morale because we're desperate for wins. Whereas if you make it when we're playing extremely well and we win a game of football, but you made a mistake because you've conceded a goal, but we won, it doesn't impact us too much. So what I'm trying to say is Hashi is probably the most likely one to start, and he has played well in the odd appearance playing as a right back, but we need to see it more. We need to see more consistent performances. So I do understand the argument of bringing in a more experienced right back to the football club, but we of course were unable to do it, and we're already at that 25 squad limit, so we can't actually recruit anyone unless we cancel someone's contract and we bring in a free agent. And then the last question mark was the centre mid area, because we've allowed 2 centre mids to leave the football club during this window in Tom Krause and Pelly. It does leave us light. As I've mentioned already, we've got 2 players in every position. So you've got Walsh and Baptiste, you've got Lamine Dabu and Nakamba, and you've got Clark and you've got Asgard. Those are 6 midfielders. We play a 3-man midfield. That's a lot of midfielders. So there is someone competing for a position. Baptiste and Walsh, 2 players, also need to step up. Baptiste needs to recover from these stupid injuries he keeps getting. And if Walsh can not get suspended, he might play a few times. And to be fair to Walsh, he has been available in the recent games. He just hasn't been playing. So it's just a preference which Matt Bloomfield has currently got at the moment. But you don't just have those 6 midfielders. Chong, he can play as a number 10 and also out wide on the left. You've also got Zach Nelson, who can play as a 10 and also out wide. Victor Moses as well can play as a number 10. So that's another 3 more players that can play as a number 10 for us. So there's players there. We just need players to step up. People have question marks and are worried about our squad because of these players haven't been performing. If they were performing, then people wouldn't have any concerns and wouldn't be asking for new players. So these players have just got to step up now. This squad before the window was more than capable of staying up. It's still more than capable of staying up in the Championship this year. We need to start winning games of football. And it all comes from these players now. If you can't perform under 2 managers, it's on you. It's not the managers, it's on the players. So to end the video, I do think it has been a good window for Luton. I do think it's been a proactive one. I do think we've solved a few missing qualities which we didn't have before the window started, and hopefully Matt Bloomfield and the rest of the team can start a good run of form, and we can start climbing out of those relegation places and up the championship table. I do think this squad is more than capable of staying up. It's now time to see what these players can do. A lot of them have a point to prove, and I hope they can prove that point by helping us stay up in the division. So that is the end of the video. Drop a like, comment below, subscribe to my channel. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.